Yeah.
Yes. Shall we go into our next topic, which connects to what Gaki
The
is saying?
coffee.
Um, yeah, coffee. Let's go into coffee. It's a much safer topic.
Yes.
Here we go. So it's been an interesting article that came out a few weeks ago. Too much coffee can cause your brain to shrink, raise dementia risk by 53%. Um, and you are definitely in the safe, Geki. Uh, Coffee is so the uh, drinking 6 or more cups a day was linked with a 53% increased
Yes,
risk of dementia and makes stroke more likely too.
I think.
Um, as with basically anything, if you consume it in small amounts, it's usually good. Um, it becomes a problem when you drink too much of it. And in the world, so we are currently in Scandinavia, and
Yes,
6 cups of coffee is absolutely nothing.
that is
Um,
not weird to
it,
drink 6 cup. I heard that they hear the doctor's advice when pregnant, coffee is not so good, right?
correct.
So
Yes.
when one is pregnant, one should limit their coffee
Caffeine
intake,
intake in general.
caffeine intake. Yes, but you can still drink like 2 or 3 cups. This is okay
Yes.
for Swedish doctors, but
Ah,
for doctors in the rest of Europe, I think it's 1 cup or no cups. But for Swedish doctors, like 2 or 3 is just perfectly fine because the normal consumption is apparently 6. But
I
yes,
wonder what effect that has on people. So one of the
yeah,
problems,
I
and
don't
and
know.
I mean you can mitigate this. So one of the effects of
Mm,
coffee is that it's a diuretic. It reduces the osmolarity of your um, body.
yeah,
It takes water out, and you get
yeah,
dehydrated. And
yeah,
dehydration, that is in general bad for your brains. Your neurons like to have enough water. So one of the recommendations in the study is as well that if you drink so much coffee, drink a glass of water with each cup of coffee, which will offset the dehydration that you suffer, and that will
yeah.
probably help you. And in general, I mean, other studies have also found that drinking sufficient amount of water is good for your mental health as well.
Ah, okay, it's good for your brain.
There is, I don't think there is any scientific evidence for this whole you need to drink 8 glasses of water per day. I believe that came up from a dietitian, not a
Oh,
scientist, just some dude who's like, oh, I think 8 is a good number. And then he said that, and
oh,
everyone
really?
kept repeating him. And that's where that 8 comes from. Um,
Wait, but I never heard that 8. But I thought
it was
the
popular a few
people.
years ago. I don't know if it's still, it's
I
like an
think.
urban myth.
Oh, but I never heard 8. I only heard 1.5 to 2 liters is a normal amount for a human to drink in a day.
That's
Uh,
probably more accurate. I don't know what a typical
Probably,
glass
yeah.
holds. It's like 300 centiliters, milliliters.
Yeah, or 200. This depends on your glass. So
Okay, 8
I
glasses would
think
be
the 8
1.6
glasses
liter.
is.
Yeah. I mean, in general, make sure you're not peeing in yellow.
Yeah, yeah, you can see your pee. If you go to the bathroom every 10 minutes, you drink too much. If you go to the bathroom every 3 hours and your pee is very yellow, you drink too little.
There we go. So yeah, for a healthy brain, make sure you drink plenty of water, um, as Yoshi is now demonstrating.
Yes. What is
So interesting point,
yeah.
Gagi. So you're saying now, if you eat too much sugar and you smoke too much, um, you're not necessarily in a bad state. Smoking is not actually that bad for your brain. Um, there have
No?
been some neuroprotective effects attributed to nicotine. So nicotine is a neurotransmitter. It's also released. It's a homologue to acetylcholine. Um, um, it's also being used in your brain, and it just tricks your brain into thinking, "Hey, I'm happy." But by itself, nicotine uh, can actually promote healthy activity within your brain. So
Mm. The only thing is that's addictive, right? So
well,
you
A,
have
it's
to keep
addictive,
smoking.
and B, you get lung cancer, which is bad.
Yep, of course. But
But for your
in your
brain,
brain,
smoking is fine.
yeah, but in your brain you change, like you kind of get this addiction in your
Yeah.
brain that you
Uh,
foods are
the
just
other thing
maybe
is, it
bad.
does have a negative effect on your neurovascular. So the blood vessels in your brain,
Mm,
they become more stiff when you smoke, and that's
mm,
also in your heart. So that's why you get heart disease when you smoke.
yeah.
That will